Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa Bowker and I graduated from the Monday, Wednesday evening program in Charlotte in 2019. Today I have my guest with me, my husband, Kyle Bowker, who also did the Monday, Wednesday program here in Charlotte, and he graduated in 2020. We're excited to talk to you about our experience with the Wake Forest MBA program. So Kyle, let's talk to the group about how we ended up in this crazy situation where his husband and wife were both in an MBA program in the evenings while keeping our full-time job.
And it wasn't completely at the same time. You started a year before me, I graduated a year afterwards. It was good to knock it out though, all at once. So yeah, it was my dream, but why did you want to do the MBA?
Why did I want to do it?
Yeah.
You wanted me to do it. No, I mean, I know it was always your dream, but at the time, I was on the corporate track and it just made sense for us. You know, we thought the payoff would be with me, and it was. I have had an amazing payoff in the corporate life, but little did we know when you joined the MBA, it would skyrocket us to starting our own company.
Would you say it paid off for you?
Oh, it paid off tremendously for me. I had a promotion during the MBA program, and then I've had one since. I've hit my target way earlier than I ever expected. I'm one of the youngest people in my role in my department. So the MBA was a huge advantage. And not only did it help me with my trajectory, I think it's made me a better people manager too. And that's something that I pride myself on, probably more than the title itself, but being a good manager of people. So let's talk about our little company, Wildcat Contractors.
It's not little anymore.
It's not little anymore.
We've grown pretty substantially in the last couple of years. It's not even 2 years old yet.
No.
And we're up to 30 employees.
How do you think the MBA prepared us for this challenge?
Definitely, I'll go back to confidence. It gave me the confidence to do it.
Tell me a little bit about why you chose the MBA program. Why was it so important to you? Because I know it's been something that's been on your mind since I've known you for years.
Yeah, it was important to me to legitimize my career, I think. I'm sometimes in a thankless business. What we do, utility work, we dig the hole, we put the pipe in the ground, we cover it up.
What made you choose Wake Forest?
I liked the prestige that Wake Forest had to offer. The cost wasn't too big of a factor. I mean, we both had employer assistance, so that factored into it. But really, when you broke down the cost, it really kind of averaged out with the rest of the programs that were available in Charlotte at the time.
When I came to Wake Forest and shadowed and sat in on a class, and I saw how motivated all of the students were, and everybody was interacting and asking the professor questions and real life scenarios that people were sharing. I mean, it just made the whole experience come together. And I said, oh, this is why people do an MBA. This is the value they get out of it. And that's something that you can't get if you're on Zoom. Yes, you can make it work, but I find there's a lot more value when you're sitting there with your peers. And I also like that everybody worked full time. And so the scenarios weren't hypothetical. They were real. It was something that happened in the workplace.
Well, circling back a little bit, working full-time was both important to us. I think both of our jobs, the opportunity cost of leaving those jobs and trying to do a full-time program somewhere was way too high. And even though we could have, it didn't make sense at all. Because again, I think we'd be in the same spot if we actually would be behind if we had left our jobs and tried to do a full-time program.
One thing that I loved about our professors is they all had real life experience. Everybody had a career before being a professor, and I feel like they brought so much to the table in being able to relate and offer real world insights. Tell me about one of your favorite professors or experiences.
So our marketing professor is responsible for a lot of famous brands that you'd probably recognize. And on top of being a leader in his field, he was one of the greatest people I'd ever met. Just a great guy, somebody you'd want to model your life and situation after.
You know, those connections, even after we've graduated, are pretty special. You know, the one professor that we just had dinner with, he's been almost a mentor in some ways for us as we talk about finances for our new company and how to secure that financing. And he's just encouraging when you need that little push to say, no, you're on the right track. You've got this. Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, that's huge because in what we're doing, not everybody can relate. or can be that open without, some fear of judgment or sharing too much about your finances, but he's amazing. I'll tell you about a memory where I can tell you where the MBA was directly in my head when we had the company. So we started the company in January of 2021. 2 months later, COVID hits.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the world is upside down.
New world.
New world. People are working from home. And for a minute, we said, oh, crap, you just quit your job. We just started a business. Was this the right decision? And I remember us having that conversation, and I said to you, don't you remember in the MBA when they said the best time to start a new business is actually in a recession because it level sets everyone?
You did say that.
And I said, we're going to be okay. And while we were worried, I knew that we had talked about this in class. It was textbook. I said, this is going to even the playing field. While the supply chain runs wild, everybody's having the exact same problems. And it gave me the confidence to know that we were going to be able to weather that storm, along with everything else we learned in the MBA program, controlling our growth, managing the finances behind it. Accounting, yeah. But I do remember that, and it still sticks in my mind. And on those hard days when the economy is very unpredictable, I remind myself, it's going to be okay. It level sets us all. And I don't know that I would have learned that without the MBA. So, on paper, I think people would say neither one of us truly needed our MBAs. Working in banking, a lot of people did scoff at me and say, you have a CPA, I have a CPA, we don't need another master's degree. First of all, I was in a slightly different boat. I didn't have a master's in accounting. This is my first master's degree. But I did have a CPA, and there was a huge ROI for me. Now I can say that I'm a CPA and MBA, and to have both of those acronyms behind my name in the corporate world, especially in banking and finance, it's huge.
Definitely means something for you.
Yeah, the CPA tells me how to do the work. The MBA tells me how to lead people and how to motivate people and get the most out of my team and be a good leader. And I know I said it earlier, but that's really important to me. I think at some point in your career, it's less about what you can do and more about how you can motivate others and persuade others. And those are skills that I learned in the MBA. I really see a difference in the leaders around me from those who have gotten MBAs versus those who have made it to the same position maybe, or maybe slightly less, but their leadership style is very different.
So you would say that getting your MBA was essentially a business decision?
Oh yeah, for both of us.
And I think it should be for anyone. If you're on the fence about getting it, I think you need to seriously sit down, look at it, run the numbers for yourself, and decide whether that's a business decision you would make. And if it is, do it. And if not, don't do it and don't regret it. Don't regret your decision one way or the other.
I could totally agree. I think for us, the MBAs have paid off both in the corporate world and with Wildcat. I'm excited to see where the future takes us. I think it's very bright, and the MBA was a huge piece of that.